Senator Durbin.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I may be mistaken. I may have missed this completely as I listened to the witnesses. But I suspect that we have a federal issue that has been disclosed to us this morning at this hearing. I suspect that our witnesses have given us a challenge as to whether we're going to do something about it. I suspect there is a possibility that we may even have to legislate, pass a bill, make a law. And I think you've spelled out in graphic terms why this is essential. My challenge to colleagues on my side of the aisle and the other side of the aisle is, let's not walk away from this hearing and say, oh my God, that's really a mess. Let's do something that we were elected to do and legislate. The chairman has some legislation. I am co-sponsoring some of it with him. Each of us has an idea, I'm sure, because we wouldn't run for office if we didn't. And we have a challenge that's given to us by this panel. Dr. Kircher, I tried to imagine you're walking into that patient's room day after day after day and explaining that the therapy he needed to stop the cancer in his body was being held up because of a fight, a jurisdictional fight about how to get the drug to the hospital. How in the world do you possibly explain that to your patient?
It's interesting because as an oncologist, we're very well trained to deliver bad news. I can tell patients that they have a cancer, that it's progressed, that maybe they ultimately need to be transitioned to hospice care even. But what I've noticed since I started practicing in 2011 is increasing conversations that I am not prepared for. It's interesting that I can have a conversation about end of life, but I'm having more and more about affording our medications and making these difficult decisions that are well beyond the four walls of our clinic and involved just obtaining their medications. So as fast as we're hustling in clinic to see patients and get them what they need, we hit this roadblock that is really difficult to deal with.
So to my colleagues, what if this was a member of your family? What if it was your spouse or your child that we were talking about? I mean, that really brings it home. And Dr. McDonough, what you and Dr. Kircher have told us about your belief in your professional responsibility to the patient really rings true to me. You care. And because you care, that patient's going to get better treatment. And the bottom line, Professor Sood, is you've gone through and analyzed these from an economics viewpoint. I'm really impressed with what you found. And Mr. Scott, the bottom line is this. You argue that PBMs give us competition, choice, and flexibility, and the evidence is absolutely to the contrary. What you've just heard, the illustrations on both sides of you, are proof positive that that is not your goal. I could go into vertical integration, the opioid crisis, spell out what PBMs have done over and over again. But how in the hell do you answer this Dr. Kircher's plea to us to give her patient the medicine he needs to get well and get into a battle over pricing? I mean, you say, well, you go into it voluntarily, you pick a PBM voluntarily. Clearly that's not exactly the case. Voluntarily, she had a pharmacy in her hospital that she wanted to use, but you didn't give her that choice. I don't see how PBMs in the examples that we've heard today have done the right thing for the patient. They've done the right thing for their bottom line. Please.
Ma'am, Mr. Durbin, thank you for the opportunity to comment on some of the issues that have been raised. And I want to start first by just expressing my sympathy for the experience that Dr. Kirchner shared. My father also suffered from cancer at the end of his life and then Alzheimer's disease, and the coverage that he had through his healthcare benefit, the way that that system worked in both instances to make sure that he was getting the drugs he needs. And you know about Alzheimer's disease, that requires constant changes and dosage adjustments. The way that that worked properly allowed my mom and I to spend time focusing on him at the end of his life instead of having to focus on some of those administrative challenges. And that is the way we believe the system should work for all patients. We want to make sure that is working better. As has been said before, those steps can be important in order to make sure that we are getting the right medicine to the right patient at the right cost. And at the same time, in today, 2025, the way that the system, we should not be using fax machines, right? We should be at a place where that exchange with the physician can happen in a more instantaneous place so that we don't have those unnecessary delays, especially in the case of pharmaceuticals like cancer treatment.
Mr. Chairman, to you and to my colleagues, if this isn't a call to action, I don't know what is. Imagine your own member of a family that you love going through this mess because we failed to change the law. I hope we do.